and welcome to Sunday Stamping with Elizabeth Craft Designs, and welcome to Hedgehog Hollow if you haven't joined us before. Today I have for you a Christmas in July project. We're going to be doing a quick, simple, easy Christmas card that has lots of depth and dimension and of course some sparkle, so that you can mass produce your Christmas cards. Now I know that we all have a Christmas card that we tend to like to send to everyone, whether we need to make 10, 20, 50, 100 or many hundred. It's great to have some ideas in stock. So today this is the card we're going to make. We're going to celebrate from our family to yours so that you can start on your Christmas cards now, and then we'll do some more special ones as we come up closer to the holidays. So let's get started. Our first step is to create our Pinecone textured panel. So I'm using the Pinecone embossing folder from Elizabeth Craft, and I've already put it through my Vagabond with a piece of the Elizabeth Craft cardstock. I'll link all this up in the description below, and you can see that it's a white core cardstock, so you've got white on one side and you've got your colour on the top, and that's perfect to give us these different depths and layers and things. I'm actually going to accentuate it a little bit more. I've got a sanding block here and I'm just very lightly going over it, and you can see a little bit more of that colour is removed. Now you can go as far or as little as you want. You may even just want a solid cardstock, but I like the depth and dimension and the texture we get from just taking that sanding block in. I want a little bit more off that middle one. So I'm then going to use my Nuvo Embellishment Mousse, and you can see I stuck my finger in here earlier. So I'm now just going to take the whole top piece off. It won't dry out, don't worry about taking that top piece off. It is designed to have a really good seal in the lid. So I'm going to use my finger. You could use a Q-tip or something, but I find I have more control with my finger. And I'm going to just take a little bit off because I got a bit too much. And then I'm going to very gently just start rubbing over those pine cones. Nothing else to start with. Let's just work on those. And I'm just going to go from one to the other. Again, you might want to leave, I'm going to leave a few white areas. I'm going to leave a few red areas or burgundy areas. And I just want to add that shimmer and texture that's perfect for that background on our Christmas in July card. Now this is also a really easy card that you could create 10, 20, 50 or maybe even 100 of. All you need to do is run them through the Vagabond. Of course, this is a really easy bit. Children can help, husbands can help, and they can just add the mousse. Now I'm just going to go around these areas as well now in between. And I'm going to use just a couple of dots, and I'm going to make it go a really long way. This is one of those things like elbow grease will make it go much, much further. Some areas will have thicker bits, some will have thinner bits, and if you don't like where it is, just take your finger back in and really just give it some elbow grease and it will move around again for you. It will kind of reactivate. So you can see there I've got this really lovely shimmery textured surface. So while I was mounting up the Pinecone piece, I realised the camera wasn't actually running. So size wise, we have half a piece of 8.5 by 11, which then gives us a 4 1/4 by 5.5 card base. Then we have a piece 4 by 5 1/4 of the copper, and then my original piece is the 3 3/4 by 5 inches. So each time you go down 1/4 of an inch on one on the length and one on the width. So that gives you a nice even mounting. So let's pop that to the side while we complete the rest of our card. Now I have a piece of the Elizabeth Craft Design adhesive, and I'm going to take off one side. Doesn't matter which side. And I'm going to stick that onto a piece of Neenah Solar White. And I'm going to use the Celebrate die again. And I'm going to pop it across here, and I'm going to pop this through my die cutter. You want your adhesive to be at the top because it's only on one side, so it will make a difference. And I'm going to pop this through my Vagabond so that then we can create our beautiful glittery sentiment. So I'm just running this through next to me. And I'm just making sure that the Celebrate fits. So the Vagabond is an electronic die cutter. You may be able to hear it just zipping through next to me. It goes through both ways depending what you're doing, and I tend to just put it through both ways because it's easier for it to pop out on the side that's closest to me. So here we go. So I'm going to pop that out, and now my sentiment will come out too. And just carefully tease it away because it is a couple of layers that it's gone through. You'll also want to do a little bit of weeding, so I'm going to use a Tonic craft pick and I'm going to go along and try and pop out some of these centres. Sometimes it's easier to do it once you've got the glitter on. If you've got a couple of stubborn ones, then wait till you've glittered your sentiment, they'll pop right out once you've removed that top layer. It just kind of releases it a little bit more. But you can see mine are popping out nicely, and this pick is just perfect to get them out all the way along. So let's do our E. Now we can peel off that top layer, and if you want to, you can use a pair of tweezers or your fingers. It's absolute personal preference. And I'm going to use my tidy tray, which I'll link up for you. I use this for embossing, for glitter, for everything. And of course you've got tweezers, it just stops what I just did and where it sticks to you all the time. Now this is the Warm Diamond Microfine glitter because I wanted it to look like some Christmas snow and a nice contrast to the panel that we already had on there. Now one tip I do have for you is if you're going to use your white glitter, either if you buy the pack of 3 tidy trays, you can keep one that's just for white and label it, or I just give mine a really good clean out using one of the little powder puffs here, just to make sure I don't get any cross contamination with darker glitters that I may have used previously. So this in a moment is going to go on our card here with this celebrate, and I'm also going to stamp a piece that says from our families to yours. I think is what it says, from our family to yours, that's it. And I'm going to do that using my Tonic platform, and there is a video both on the Hedgehog Hollow channel where you are now, you can search for that, or if you want something a little more in-depth, there are 10 top tips with it that you can find on the scrapbook.com channel as well. So this is great, and I do put a piece of foam and a Teflon mat in here. Personal preference, absolutely, you don't necessarily have to, but it just makes for me, for work, go much quicker. So I'm going to ink this up. This is some Ranger Archival ink, and I'm going to close. And I'm just going to do it once more because I want a really nice strong black, which is why I chose the Ranger Archival, because of how lovely it comes out. So I've just done it on a scrap again of the Neenah Solar White. I'm going to use my stamp Shammy to just clean off my stamp. And this stamp comes from a set of 2 different sentiments, which I absolutely loved. This is one, let's stick it back on here and I can show it to you. It's called Merry and Bright, and it has 'Twas the Night Before Christmas, Not a Creature Was Stirring, the lovely postmark in here, and I also like this Elizabeth Craft Design holiday sentiment set. Always looking for great sentiments for every holiday, and these ones are particularly nice. So let's put this all out of the way, and when we can finish assembling our card, I'm going to use my paper trimmer to trim this up. This is a Cutterpede, my favourite paper trimmer here, and it comes in a large or a small size, so you can get a card front size, which is this one, and you can also get a 12 by 12 size one, which actually goes slightly bigger than 12 by 12, which is really nice for when you're cutting things down. And it's rotary based, the blades are interchangeable, and also this piece you can change here, but I have to say in the 10 years I've had mine, I've never actually done it. So I'm going to use a piece of a foam strip just on the back of the sentiment. We'll trim a little bit off there, and that can go on here. Now to stick down our celebrate, now I could have put adhesive on the other side, but I didn't. I like to just take, this isn't a Pritt stick, which is the British equivalent of the Elmer's glue stick, and then I take another piece of craft mat, this is my gesso one, and I just dot it all over, because sometimes I want to add foam and I don't know that until the end, so I tend to just kind of do it on the fly. So our celebrate's going to go here, somewhere towards the bottom, and that bottom is a 1/3 quarter, and you just want to press that down. Now the best thing I find with glittery sentiments, we're going to add a little bit more glue to it, to stick them down is not your fingers, because you will warp it, it will stick to you, and it just goes hopelessly wrong. My top tip, once you've got it where you want it, is just press it down lightly, like this. And then I'm going to grab my wallpaper runner, and I'll link up one for you, and then I just go over it. And I do this with all sorts of things. This sticks down so many different things in my craft room, and you can see there you don't get any glitter come up, and it sticks down nice and solid. Let's pop the lid back onto that, and now we can put down our sentiment. So again, I can peel that sticky off, and I'm just going to peel that down here. So that's our finished Christmas card. As I say, you could create these in bulk really easily. You could send your Celebrate through with your embossing folder, and you could either get FedEx to cut them down if you're doing that many, or you could just sit one evening in front of the TV and cut down all your different layers. So I hope you've enjoyed our tutorial today. Be sure to check out the linked blog post, as well as the Hedgehog Hollow channel where you are now. Click that big subscribe button underneath, and also visit the Elizabeth Craft Design channel for more inspiration and ideas. Thanks for stopping by today. Happy stamping! Bye!